everybody, welcome back, and we are going to be doing something absolutely different today. We are checking out some weird Canadian news that has probably a couple of different questions behind it. And the very topic that we are talking about today is the simple fact that for some unbeknownst reason, Twitter keeps canceling the C.R.A.'s Twitter account. It's now called X, I guess. I don't know. I don't really use Twitter. I just read about all of this stuff. But at the end of the day, we're just going to check all of this out and figure out what's going on exactly and why why the reasoning is that they say that they keep canceling the Canada Revenue Agency's Twitter account, and our reasoning for why we might think that it is. We're going to ask a few questions at the end of this, but first we're going to get into what is actually going on, or what they say is actually going on. So, we all know that misery loves company, but apparently we didn't seem to know that that bureaucracy doesn't seem to love other bureaucracy. So, first off, the first instance are the social media at the Canada Revenue Agency, or the C.R.A., the second biggest government agency or department in the country after our military, found out firsthand what it's like to jump through the red tape when it's surrounding Twitter and Facebook accounts, because they were temporarily blocked several times in the last few years for multiple reasons, including a decision by Twitter that the C.R.A. was underaged. Yeah. The Canada Revenue Agency. Literally, they tried to say that a bureaucratic company was underage. Anyway, the civil servants had to navigate the social media juggernaut's client service mage, which included requests for copies of personal ID or phone bills in order to restore account accesses. Now, the C.R.A.'s English language account on Twitter, now formerly called X, has about 260,000 followers, and on average tweets 8 to 9 times a day. And on Facebook, the agency has 136,000 followers for its English language page, and the C.R.A. uses both accounts to send out such information as tax deadlines, instructions on how to claim credits, and warnings about the latest scams. So yeah, they're sending out your tax deadlines, instructions on how to claim your credits, warnings about new scams, that kind of stuff. There's no malicious intent here as far as we can tell. I mean, no way to really know, but at the same time, it's they literally, their whole company just revolves around money. Who cares? Anyway, the suspensions in those accounts are captured in email exchanges from March 2018 to July 2022, and they were made public through a request under the Access to Information Act. Urgent C.R.A. account gone is what the subject line read for July 4th, 2022, in an email from the C.R.A. social media manager, Kristalina Chu, not sure if I am pronouncing that name correctly, to someone at Twitter, whose name is blanked out in the records released by the agency. Now, the email said that the C.R.A. staff couldn't read some of the tweets directed at the agency in recent days because Twitter's algorithms determined that the user on their account wasn't old enough. Yeah, that's a little bit weird because they're an agency. But anyway, Twitter wanted C.R.A.'s proof of age, so a number of emails went back and forth about the problems and filling a help ticket. And before Twitter asked the C.R.A.'s social media team to have someone submit proof of age in the form of their government ID or health card, and the C.R.A.'s exact response was, "I'm not super comfortable with sharing my or my team members' IDs for a work-related account." And that is exactly what Q wrote back. And about 2.5 hours after the C.R.A. lodged its urgent help request. So, yeah, they're not. Twitter's not really doing a whole lot to help these guys at all. Oh no. Kind of makes me wonder, is there a reason? Personally? Anyway. In subsequent emails, Chu asked if the date of birth could be removed because, quote, we were trying to be cheeky and give our date of birth as the Canada Revenue Agency's anniversary date, unquote. And the Canada Customs Revenue Agency, later renamed the Canada Revenue Agency, was created on November 1st, 1999. So, yeah, there's that. So this is literally the exact email that Kristalina Chu had sent to Twitter. It says, "Hi, I hope you had a nice long weekend. We seem to be having an issue with our C.R.A. account. First, we noticed that we received over 140 messages over the last 3 days, but several of them were spam tweets, and when we tried to look at them, the Twitter platform said that our account wasn't old enough to see the tweet. Well, that's not possible because we're an organization. Fun fact, the first taxation department was established in 1867, but I digress. So, we changed our date of birth to November 1st, 1999, and now our account has been deleted? Question mark? Yeah. How does that work? Please explain." So, the Twitter staffer who replied said that they had no idea. Right, you have no idea what's going on. You guys just keep, for some unbeknownst reason, without any actual warning or any reasoning behind it, just deleting the C.R.A.'s account. Yeah, sure, cool. You guys don't know what you're doing or why you're doing it. Right. Anyway. Eventually, Chu agreed to submit a copy of a driver's license to restore the access. Which, I mean, at some point she was going to have to, because that seems to be all that they really wanted. I guess. I don't know. The next morning, the C.R.A. regained access to its Twitter account, but its social media team quickly noticed a new problem, because the newly approved birth date on the account was in November 1999. Almost all of the hundreds of tweets from 2010 through 2011 and early 2012 were missing because of Twitter's age requirement that all users must be at least 13 years old. Fudging seriously. Okay then. They're an organization. They were started in the 1800s. They're obviously more than 13, but anyway. So, and then Twitter decided that they were going to remove government-funded media tags, or their blue checks is what I guess they're calling them. So Chu once again emailed Twitter, "We're not actually only 22. We're a government organization, and are we able to reinstate that first year's tweets from 2010 through 2012 until Twitter thinks that we turned 13? Is there a way to mark this as an organization account rather than a person?" Someone from the social media company replied, "Just give it 48 hours for the account to settle down before looking for those older tweets." Now, let's just be honest here. I'm not very internet savvy. I'm not the most technologically advanced human in the world. However, I will be the first person to say that I do not think that the internet works that way. Once something is out there, it is out there for good, and once it's gone for good. If it has somehow been removed from the internet, you're never getting it back. Sorry, not sorry. Anyway, every social media strategist's nightmare. quote unquote, and it's what they're calling this, because the email exchanges between the C.R.A. and Twitter were initially obtained in November by an unknown requester under the Federal Access to Information Act. Now, the emails are included in a new database of tens of thousands of previously released federal government documents made public on Tuesday by the Investigative Journalism Foundation, a Canadian nonprofit newsroom that has published a series of databases of public interest records, and since its launch last year, the IJF gave CBC News early access to its latest efforts, and that's all that we really know about that, other than, yeah. And in an email in response to the questions on Monday evening, the C.R.A. acknowledged that the Twitter incident, the arbitrary decision to choose both the birth date in 1999 and the deletion of the post that ensued. The C.R.A. has not attempted to adjust the date of birth, and once again the statement said, given the fact that the tax information changes regularly, there is limited business value in retaining social media content from 2012. As such, the C.R.A. did not attempt to do so. Yeah, makes sense. So the messages to Twitter's press email address seeking the comment received the company's automatic reply, busy now, please check back later. Yeah. What? Okay then. Christina Gurman, a technology expert at the Ethical Digital, a Saskatoon-based digital marketing agency in suspension of the C.R.A.'s Twitter account, is every social media strategist's nightmare. But ultimately, the agency got lucky because someone at Twitter realized that what they were dealing with, and a big organization that needed immense help. Yeah. So, small businesses can have one heck of a time connecting with anybody at real Facebook or Twitter. Yeah. And this is what they said in an interview. And sometimes their accounts were just removed. And this lady has had a lot of client cases with clients where it's just crickets and they get no response in return. Yeah. Weird. So, on to their Facebook issues. Now, the emails in the IJF's database show that it wasn't just Twitter that the C.R.A. was locked out of. Its Facebook pages were locked several times too. Why? Let's find out. The first page was in March 2018, when the agency's social media team was urgently trying to gather some stats for a media product that came out slamming our Facebook posts. Okay. So after a few Facebook employees bounced the request for help, other colleagues, it emerged that the C.R.A. lost the ability to post on its own page because its staff had created a fake nameless profile to manage the page, which goes against Facebook's policies. Now, the C.R.A. regained access, but the same problem popped up again in late 2021 when the agency wanted to post from some job ads. And after a procession of emails with Facebook's help team and some failed attempts at a two-factor authentication via email or phone call, Facebook's algorithm automatically blocked the C.R.A.'s ability to publish and manage ads, which is, yeah. Zuckerberg, what are you doing, bro? What do you have against the C.R.A.? Seriously. Canadians no longer have access to news content on Facebook and Instagram, Meta says. Yeah, I don't know anything about that. But anyway, it's actually against our policy, but this is a quote from Facebook. Quote, it is actually against our policy to use fake or inauthentic profiles on our platform and or to manage that pages with them. Someone at Facebook wrote to C.R.A.'s senior marketing advisor, warning that the same snafu could happen again because we are cracking down on the creation and use of inauthentic profiles. Unquote. Okay, bae, but what about all of the tens of thousands of fake profiles that have names and all of that good jazz that are currently active and all over the place on Facebook? Can you riddle me this, please? Anyway, it took a week for the C.R.A. to regain the ability to publish ads. Its job recruiting posts were delayed as a result, and the C.R.A. in its statement on Monday acknowledged that it had created what is called a content management account using a generic C.R.A. email to initially set up its Facebook pages, but it denied ever using an account with a fake name to then manage those pages. Okay. Luc Lefebvre, and I'm pretty sure that I just, Lefebvre, I'm not sure if I got that right, but anyway, he is an IT security specialist and a co-founder of the information security and privacy of the non-profit Encrypto Quebec, said Facebook. And unlike Twitter, it doesn't generally allow a company to have a single login to administer its business page and its program. Okay then. So, quote, employees shouldn't have to log in personally to manage these pages themselves, he said in an interview in French. Lefebvre, I can't pronounce that. We're just gonna call him Mr. L. Mr. L said that every time a worker with access to the company Facebook page quits, for example, the company has to quickly regime the permissions so that the ex-employee doesn't deface the page. Okay. It's not the C.R.A.'s fault. They just want to use social media, he said. Okay, then.
Would, and now it's pulling the trigger. Meta, parent company to Facebook and Instagram, has begun blocking news content to Canadians, a process it says will take weeks.
They don't want to be regulated. They don't want to be forced to pay for news. And they are powerful enough to be able to say, well, we just won't play this game, we'll just leave it.
Something the Canadian government's Online News Act would make them do. It would require companies like Google and Meta to compensate news organizations for posting their content.
Why exactly Meta is deciding that they want to block news content from Canadians on their social media platforms is absolutely beyond me. Now, I have no idea how exactly these guys sincerely believe that this is going to end up being a good thing, but at the end of the day, I'm personally of the opinion that it's probably gonna end up pretty bad at some point, because let's just be honest, if we are blocking real news from social media, which has at some point somehow become most of both Canada and America's main source for news, because there are so many people who are just not watching TV anymore and they're not reading newspapers. So they literally just go onto social media looking for different links and such to be able to find the news. Or they're following different news platforms on social media so that they're able to at least see something about what's going on in the world. And our social media accounts and such are literally what keeps everybody connected nowadays. So it's somehow they're trying to keep everybody connected and still drive us all apart, which I don't really get, but we're going to keep checking this out to see how this goes, and yeah.
Say you follow CBC News.
Digital advertising, let's redistribute that wealth.
Let's say you follow CBC News on Instagram. Right now you'd be able to pick from any of their posts, but In the coming weeks, you might instead see something like this. The federal government has always maintained its law is meant to bolster journalism in Canada, both big and small. The Online News Act is modeled after a similar law in Australia. There, news was banned by Meta briefly until the government and tech companies struck a deal. Critics say Meta likely doesn't think that's possible in Canada.
They, if anything, are more likely to stand firm on this than what we saw in Australia, where there was an opening to negotiate with the government. Here, there really isn't much to negotiate with the government. The law's already passed, and the government keeps doubling down.
And the battle continues. In a statement, Meta Canada's head of public policy says the Online News Act is based on the incorrect premise that Meta benefits unfairly from news content shared on our platforms. Heritage Minister Pascal Saint-Onge fired back, saying, "This is irresponsible," continuing with, "If the government can't stand up for Canadians against tech giants, who will?"
Now, Sarah, this decision for Meta obviously has an effect on CBC as a media organization. What is this corporation's position?
Well, CBC and Radio Canada re-echoing in a way what the Heritage Minister said there, saying this move from Meta is irresponsible, that it's an abuse of their market power. In a press release, the corporation said that this move leaves people who rely on the platform for news with unverified sources on their feeds, and they are hoping and asking Meta to reconsider its decision.
So, there we have it. Meta is flat out trying to remove news sources that are just actually giving us facts rather than fake news and bullcrap and malarkey that is just being spread by any random person in their basement. So I'm just gonna be a little bit critical here about why exactly it is that they're deciding to block the Canada Revenue Agency of all of them from our, like, okay, so they're planning on blocking out CBC News, and why exactly is it that Meta is not going to, they just don't see a future for trying to strike a deal with being able to let Canadians see real news online? That makes no bloody sense. Anyway, personally, I think Mark Zuckerberg's trying to pull some stuff, but I'm going to hold that until the end of the first question that I have here is, why in God's name is the C.R.A. actually continually being removed from the social media platform of X? What exactly is Mr. Elon Musk trying to hide from the Canada Revenue Agency? Is it just the Canada Revenue Agency, and or is it Elon Musk, or has the Canada Revenue Agency actually had multiple, what are they called again, reports about their birth date and such? So, I have what is called both a question and a theory in the same, I guess it's called a query? Question mixed with a theory? I don't bloody well know. English is my first language. Somehow I don't actually speak English properly. Okay. Anyway. So, my question here is the C.R.A. continually being blocked from Twitter for the benefit of the people who are running Twitter, or for the benefit of the people who are using Twitter? Is this just some way, and the same for Facebook, are they being banned from Facebook because of the people who are running Facebook? Is it all just a way to protect them, or is it a way to protect the users of Facebook and small business owners who might not be fully adherent to the C.R.A.'s rules and regulations, and they're just kind of trying to keep all of their lovely little businesses. Mwah. Hi, Nessa. This is, yes, I know. Hello, beautiful. Hello. Do you think I'm right? Do you think I'm right? Yeah, you think I'm right? Okay. Nessa thinks that I'm right. She thinks that that Twitter is kind of taking a very small amount of revenue and such that they are making, or they're getting a small amount of revenue from all of these small businesses that they are kind of protecting by keeping the Canadian Revenue Agency out of their business. The same as Facebook. However, Facebook, I do believe, has the exact same thing going on, but I also think that they're purposefully spreading misinformation as a way to kind of quell the masses if they can, because let's be honest here, it's just one of those places when we start getting peeved off, it kind of freaks people out. We don't really know why, but it does. We're the nicest people on God's green earth, but for some reason we're scary when we're mad. It's just a Canada thing. Okay. Anyway, if you guys think that anything weird, scary, creepy is going on, let me know what your guys' theories are down in the comments, because I really want to know your theories. I sincerely do want to know what you guys think about this. Please tell me. Anyways, I love you guys. I will see you in the next video. Please, please, please leave me some comments and tippity tap on your gorgeous, adorable, sweet little fingers and tell me what you think in the comments. Bye-bye.